Legendary teams, major players, and electrifying tactical action are back in CSGO Regional Major Rankings 2021. From June 27th till July 4th, 10 teams will clash in the thrilling showdown for the prize pool of $100,000 and slots at the PGL Major Stockholm 2021. Who will win more rounds? Who will show the most furious play? And who will claim the major prize? Find out at the CSGO Regional Major Rankings 2021. And don't forget to reload.
Welcome back to the StarLadder CIS RMR. One final map, Vince, in this four-map best of three that we're casting today. Entropiq taking on Spirit. We just saw Spirit wipe the floor with them on Dust 2. Now we go over to Mirage. Could get interesting. Could be spicy. We've played a lot of rounds in the series so far, so I mean, this really does feel like it's a bit up in the air.
No, absolutely. And you also have to take into account that these players, I believe that they're playing on Russian time, so it's almost like midnight, maybe even half past midnight their time, you know? So they've been up for a fair chunk of time. They've been playing a lot of Counter-Strike. Mirage on paper is a very close one as well, but I think similar to Nuke, maybe a bit of a false narrative comes in because it's a 50%. On paper looks a bit dodgy for Spirit, I mean, but they do have wins against Na'Vi and Gambit. So you look at those two teams, you think, right, okay, well, they're rocking with the tier 1 boys. So I'm not too sure where to come down with this. Plus the fact you've got to take into account Dust 2. Yes, Nuke was a really disappointing performance at the end for them. Dust 2, they looked phenomenal in that second half, especially. Like that was the Spirit that we were expecting to see from round 1.
Yeah, they look great once you're in Dust 2, but that's what's a little bit scary about this is obviously we've seen them on a map they're comfortable on, look great. Map they're not so comfortable on, look very, very sloppy. Like there was reasons why they shouldn't be comfortable. So I'm not sure exactly where Mirage falls into this wheelhouse, but yeah, I generally like to go to these third maps without any kind of, feeling about, who they've beaten on maps. I'm just like, it's a third map. And obviously with 5 overtimes, it throws a lot of things out of the window. There's a lot of exhaustion, as you mentioned. There's a lot of X factors that are going to come into this, and I'm still pretty impressed. I hope we get good performances out of guys like Elian, Nickelback, and Forrester again. I hope we see those 3 guys for Entropiq really delivering here, because I think they're going to be key if they want to fight against Team Spirit, who's got a ton of skill themselves.
No, absolutely. And I think that on a map like Mirage, and after a performance like that, you are looking at the big guys to step up tall and really deliver. If you want to win, if you want to get a ton of RMR points, you are going to have to beat the likes of Spirit. You're going to have to beat the likes of the Gambits and the Na'Vis out there. There are no easy games. This is a stacked RMR, make no mistake. So you've got a chance. You've got them against the ropes. You now have to deliver that fatal blow. Otherwise, you are going to come out of this feeling very disappointed that you let it slip.
Oh, it's going to be so interesting. Spirit as well. Remember, we've covered it a number of times. They are currently leading the RMR points for the CIS region, just by a narrow margin, 100 points above Na'Vi in second place. Pretty crazy to think about. So, obviously, a good performance here is something they'd quite enjoy. I don't know. Do you put anything in the fact that Mirage is, for some time now, been getting a little bit like Puggier, been taking away like that. Been taking like that Dust 2 mantle a little bit, where it is like just kind of the go-to map. Everyone kind of knows how to play it.
Sure, yeah, I could definitely see that. I think that may very well play into the favor of Entropiq as well. I think they have players that are maybe a little bit better when it comes to being free and lone wolf kind of style. I think Spirit are more of a technically sound team that are looking for strats and executes and that sort of thing. They do obviously, it's not to say or like write off their individual skill. Like they're a very individually skilled pack of players. But yeah, I can definitely see where you're coming from. I think that's definitely a possibility, especially the later it gets and the more tired the players get. Maybe that's where they do kind of go back into that style a little bit more, where they get a little bit more frisky and a little bit crazier.
I'd like that. I want to see real craziness today. I want to end the day on something real freaky, like dungeon level of freaky.
Yeah, I mean it's possible, isn't it? It's Mirage, it's CIS region, it's late at night for these guys. Yeah, we could be going all the way into the depths.
That would be good stuff. Yeah, third and final map, and I believe the other series has ended as well. So yeah, this is the only thing you guys got to watch. Let's get into it. Knife round is just finished up. They're going to select their sides. Looks like Spirit going to be starting on the defensive CT side of Mirage, and we're about to get that pistol round underway. For those tuning in, this is a round robin best of 3 groups, so no one is getting eliminated. Nothing is really too crazy happening. Everyone's going to be playing everyone in these groups, and we'll see how all the chips fall towards the end of the week. Man, who are you looking for on Team Spirit to deliver a solid performance here to take them this win, to get them this win?
Actually, from when I've casted them before Mirage, it's typically Magix, I think, is a player on Mirage that's really interesting for me. Because, again, he's one of those players that I think goes under the radar a little bit. You're typically looking at the Dexters, you're looking at the Mirs, not necessarily the Magix of the team. But I think on Dust 2, he looked really sharp. His long control was phenomenal on CT side. And I'd be looking for him to have another big, impactful game here. I think he could be the difference maker, actually.
I would like that. I'm always a big fan of my my Vega Squadron boys, Mir and Chopper. I want those guys to go absolutely ham.
Yeah, I mean, this is a map historically the Vega Squadron pulled out some interesting results on as well. So, like, maybe this is going back to those old dark days, and they just come out swinging. Additionally, by the way, just for context, we were talking before about how Spirit are top of the rankings for the points right now. Entropiq are in 6th position. And I believe there's 2,000 points up for grabs for whoever comes first in this. So they're in 6th, but considering that Akuma are just slightly above them with 20 extra points, VP are within sort of arm's reach, like, there's no reason Entropiq couldn't put themselves into a position here where they could potentially even qualify for the major. Yeah,
that is a great point. I mean, they are competing to get some more points on the board. And I mean, even though they're 6th place, they're not too far off, you know, some of even the top dogs, even the top 4. I believe they're only, what, 400 or 500 points behind them. Good opening kill from Elian, headshot from the P250. Chopper playing back at the ticket booth, just waiting, and he's going to back off. It's Mir pushing up towards Catwalk now, but smokes are positioned perfectly to get this plant and to get into great positions for the after plant.
Yeah, they really are in excellent spots that are going to be difficult to break down if you are Spirit looking for this rotation, this retake. They do have a CZ, they've got a bit of utility, but more importantly, Mir's taking the head of Lackey. So that murder hole position is now being freed up. That puts more pressure on Forrester. That's why he's gone aggressive. He felt like he had to. He had to try and take the initiative. Magic's round the back, had a phenomenal pistol round on Dust 2, and is continuing that going forward. Sundar Young with the CZ puts it to good use, and the smoke in amongst the smoke. The defuse in amongst the smoke, I should say, is good, and Spirit will be taking the round.
See, scrappy Counter-Strike, scrappy casting, it's all good. It's been a long one. Yeah, that's a great retake. Nice win from Team Spirit. Smoke helping out massively towards the end. And this is that opening kill. Elian just swinging out nice and easy. 1 tap. Didn't end up mattering at the end of the day, unfortunately. So 1-0 for Team Spirit. But it is a buy from Entropiq. Look at this. 4 Galils, 1 Scout. There's rifles on the other side as well. Spirit know this is coming, and they followed immediately. Entropiq out of spawn, leaning towards that A bomb site with 4 players. Woo!
Elian again in middle, just putting pain down and misery, this time with the Scout. Forrester follows it up. Oh, it's looking great. Entropiq straight through with Galils and Scouts and putting them to good use. 3 players have been put by the wayside. This time the post plant is looking a lot better, way more healthy, and Spirit agree. They want to back off and save these 2 assault rifles. These 2 M4s will, hopefully from their perspective, stay in play, but Entropiq, they're not giving them any freebies. They're actually chasing this down. They're charging in.
I don't even mind this hunt. Yeah, you might lose a few rifles, but the idea of going up against, you know, a couple of M4s with Deagle surrounding them is a bit dicey. And unfortunately, they kind of all commit to chasing different parts of the map before they really discover where the Spirit players are. And that makes this a costly chase and ineffective as well. I don't think any of these M4s should get taken away. There's 1 more kill from Magix, and we're all tied up 1-1, but good kills down the stretch for Spirit.
Here's Elian with that shot again. Almost a carbon copy, just the Scout as opposed to the P250 this time. And then Forrester, because they lost that window player, he had to go out and peek and try and alleviate some of the pressure that was mounting. And in doing so, he gave his life away. So yes, they will save the 2 M4s. I think I see a Scout dropped on the floor as well. So they do have a full investment in, and it's not a bad one, really. As you said, like, it is a little bit dicey here. Entropiq can't take their eye off this round, otherwise it can go pear-shaped real quick.
Ooh, gonna back away. A ton of aggression in middle. Mir's all the way atop Cat. That's going to send them forward up the ramp, and Chopper has just a deagle. There's no way he's buying enough time on his own for the cavalry to come in, but actually Entropiq gives him a bit of a gift. Backs away from applying that pressure, and there's that quick flank from the mid aggression. And all of a sudden, if you're Entropiq, this is weird. You're feeling real boxed in at the moment, and they're making the decision to go attack the flank, and that might be costly. Nickelback, not going to check the angle. They're going to lose one more. Mir's eventually going to go down, but he's delayed. He's got information, and more importantly, he's pulled the pressure off of the A bomb site to buy his teammates some breathing room.
Exactly. He's wasted so much time. Enough time that Magix can now move in. Enough time that's elapsed where Entropiq may think seconds about pushing onto the B site straight away, and they're actually coming into underpass, and that's into the arms of Dexter. It's a scout as opposed to the AWP, and the shot has connected, but it's through a wall. Nowhere near as much damage. Now posted up is Magix. From above, he will strike. Headshot is good. 30 seconds. Bomb gets spilled down, but so does Grad. Scout this time finalizes what was started off by Dexter and kickstarts them into a potential 2-1 lead. Lackey not checking all of his angles. He doesn't have the time that's afforded to him. And Chopper just makes sure that he has the lineup correct. And Spirit's force buy reaps the second round for themselves.
That's all thanks to the aggression from Mir. That's such a huge play, and obviously a rough call. Entropiq calling to fall back right into that flank. No way they could have known that was coming. But that was just so brutal. Threw everything they wanted to do all to hell. 2-1 in the favor of Team Spirit.
And it's another force. This time it's an AK with a scout nowhere near as good as Spirit's purchase, but they do have plenty of deagles alongside it, so Spirit need to be careful here. Chopper in sandwich. There's no player in Palace. Kind of position that, considering they have no one in CT boxes, if someone just runs in up on Tetris, that can get a little bit sketchy and a bit awkward for Chopper. But now that enough time has passed, they're going to be sending that player of Dexter over with his AK, so Chopper's in a good spot all of a sudden. And Entropiq haven't really got much. They're playing this very passively. 2 players at the top of middle. Bomb still dropped out towards T side of mid.
They applied a little bit of pressure to B early on, but didn't do anything to commit with it. Don't really have the weaponry or the resources. They'd be risking an AK-47 at a pretty tough fight. Didn't want to deal with that quite yet. Back to middle we go, where there's some semblance of control, but Mir's going to go investigating. Same with 2 players in connector. They spot one out, nading over towards the corner. No kills yet, not enough damage, and there's Lackey. Faded into the peak, and another follow-up headshot. And now the AK gets put into play. Chopper's fortunate to get into safety, and he's just freezing this AK-47 on catwalk. Molotov is out. Chopper, he's got no other play left to make but moving forward, and he's got a kill with it.
That's so often when he's at his most dangerous, when the only thing he can do is run straight at you. Crad, nice deagle onto Magix, but no control over the bomb will be an issue with 18 seconds to go. And he agrees. Unfortunately, though, it's only an MP9. If that had been an M4 or an AK, that would have been excellent news for him. As it stands, though, at least they do have something to play with into the next round. But Spirit, they leapfrog into a 3-1 lead. Entropiq with no post plants, while their money is in a dire situation.
That's a bit rough. Saving an SMG with no bonus money. Good job from Mir. Good fights out mid. 3-1, and this should be kind of a round where you feel like Team Spirit's able to take a deep breath and just, not relax isn't the right word, but, get their feet a little bit more settled underneath them. They know there's going to be an SMG on the board, and they know other than that, there shouldn't be a whole lot of danger. Even if there are pistols, likely no armor, likely not a whole lot of utility. And I say it gives them a little bit of breathing room, but you got to remember also their goal has to be to survive with as much money as possible and as many players alive as possible to build up some of this cash that Dexter and SDY are missing.
And that's exactly why they're playing a little bit more passive angles. They are allowing Mia, though, not for the first time, to wrap around the back of Entropiq. He did this in that 1-1 round where they managed to bridge the gap. And it's the same reward, and it's the bomb as well. Lackey goes down, bomb in hand, bomb under control. Now, what does Mia do with that? Because they have no idea as to whether B site or B apps has been aggressed into, which it has. We can have the benefit of the minimap to see that Nickelback is in there for himself. But Mia now has the cavalry, now has the support coming in. M4 put down range for more frags. Elian comes up, has himself picked off. And it is that aforementioned Nickelback that remains with his Glock. And it's not a weakened Mia either. He was hoping that he maybe was weak on the approach. Oh, the burst Glock. You don't see that too often. Some Young gets splattered, but it will be a 4-1 lead.
4-1 lead, and plenty of money now growing on the Spirit side. I think Mir might have, I mean, this aggression now is what, 2-3 rounds we've seen it so far? That's using this not trick, but that's using this kind of gameplay a lot early on, and who knows, Entropiq might start catching on to that. At least be hyper aware of it for the next few gun rounds that come up. They do not want to keep getting punished by that sort of a flank. That's the kind of flank that can just stop you cold. 1-3-1 opening for Entropiq on the T side. Gonna take mid control. But not really push down and not really get too aggressive with it. Content to just control top mid boxes.
Oh, Chopper still flicks to the head of Forrester. You can see that they're kind of tiptoeing on eggshells here, Entropiq, because of all the aggression that they've had to withstand, whether it be up middle or B apps. They are very cognizant of that, and it's clearly in the back of their minds. The problem is if they show too much respect to Spirit, they won't leave themselves enough time or wiggle room with their utility to really get anything done in the later stages of the round. So I feel like Spirit are doing such a good job of marshalling the overall pace, but also the positions of the map.
Elian's going to lead the way right into this AWP. Contact peaks each and every time around each and every corner. There's a flashbang to force him off the angle, give a little bit of a chance, and Chopper goes down, trying to peek around that smoke, but Lackey's got it. Now Dexter's in a tough spot. There's not really a whole lot of falling back from this position. He's got no smoke either to get himself out. He's got to be aggressive and find his right moment. 4-on-3, and he can't do it. Right through the boxes, Nickelback, and a follow-up. Now it's just on a Magix. And he's going to miss a chance, although the bomb's getting planted out in the open. He swings out, and Lackey's there. A winnable 1 versus 2 for Mir. Not able to get it done. Nice double peek from Entropiq. And that's a second round on the board, but a costly win.
Bit of surveillance, seeing if CTs are stealing any weaponry, I guess. But yeah, that was incredibly close, and I definitely don't envy Dexter's position. I think he hit the nail on the head. Kind of, in half of his mind, he's thinking, I need to pull back. In another half, I need to go aggressive. And in doing so, there's kind of like paralysis by analysis. He just indecision cost him his life. And the cavalry didn't quite arrive there. It looked like Mia may be able to salvage that round, and then Magix could have stopped the bomb plant. But whichever way you spin it, whichever way you turn it, it's 4-2, and Spirit are down to their last few dollars. It's a scout, it's some M4s in play, but a distinct lack of grenades. No incendiaries, and with 1:30 left, only 1 smoke and 1 flashbang. So they are really living by a thread here and hoping for the best. Magix gets aggressive through on the app side, but takes a stray bullet to the head. Drop down to 16.
Late window smoke for Entropiq. Light mid control at about the 1 minute mark. Because again, they just move out to those boxes and they're content to just control that area, not pushing down the ramp, not utilizing underpass, just getting a player, Lackey, in position to lurk and watch for any kind of mid or catwalk flank. They are going to fall back into a B hit, and Spirit might have a bit of a read. Dexter is already rotating over with that scout. And you've already got a 2-man defense here as well. Mir and Magix, who's been tagged down very low.
Finalizes with the frag onto Crad. And although Lackey was playing Lurk, he needs a pivot point. He needs a foundation to build off here. If all of his teammates just die without really not much in return, his flank will be worth nothing. Kill onto Chopper is all well and good, but there's 10 seconds left, and Mir's still not been completely unweeded. There we go. Nickelback gets out the gardening tools and shovels him off. And now Dexter, missing out on the shot, tries to deny the bomb plant. Knows that could have been the round, but somehow Entropiq not just get the bomb planted down, but keep 3 players alive and win the round.
What a crazy, crazy round. That B hit didn't have any power to it. Didn't feel good from Entropiq, and they somehow made it work. I think Team Spirit got into a little bit of a rut. They were trying to buy time with it so late in the round. And then just, I mean, they were caught trying to play for time and didn't take a whole lot of fights. Also, low in HP. One player had a scout, low HP, and a FAMAS on the other player that didn't have a whole lot of resources. And Entropiq just found a perfect time to finally pounce. That's well done. 4-3 in a timeout called by Spirit.
Yeah, slowing it down. I'm always interested in rounds like this, Jason. When you call a timeout, you only have USPs. If this is more of just getting on the same page for that next round, because I mean, you just have USPs, so I assume that you don't really want to call a tactical timeout to go for like a stack or any kind of crazy aggressive play. So is this like a bigger picture kind of timeout where you're just making sure everyone's on the same page, kind of like chill?
Yeah, or, you know, you never know if there's maybe like a flare-up, like an emotional flare-up that you just want to make sure you have under control, whether it's the leader or the coach calling it. You know, it could be anything. It could be, yeah, reminding someone of a game plan that they'd come up with. Could be talking about the next gun round. There's a variety of ways you can do it. But I agree. In general, the timeouts on USP rounds do kind of make you scratch your head a little bit.
Mia, 14 kills already, by the way. A ton of ADR alongside it, even though his team are on the brink of drawing this out to 4-4. So he's had an unbelievable opening 8 rounds. But Entropiq looking good to equalize. Magic's with the Zeus, wants to see if he can make someone ride the lightning nice up close and personal, but judging from the positions, probably unlikely. And even then, it'll be one of the MAC-10s that likely tries to find him and frag him out.
14 kills, yeah, but I mean, still all tied up at 4-4. So even with 14 frags, you're not super happy about that if you're Mir. And a lot of that came from what, you know, the 3rd, the 4th round, those pushes up middle early on in that 4-1 run. Now that it's 3 in a row for Entropiq, that seems like a lifetime ago. Oh, we might be seeing something fast. They've got 2 MAC-10s picked up on Crad and Nickelback. And those are the 2 spawns that were on the B side of T-spawn. So here we go. Round number 9 underway.
They are charging Crad straight up into B-App straight away here. With a molly being put down and some smokes being exchanged between the 2 teams, he is going to pull the plug. No one was behind him anyway, so I don't think at any stage he was expecting to just push onto the site. And they couldn't even use it as like a fake pivot point where they can then execute on A. The players weren't really in position, so they at least drew out quite a bit of utility. There's no incendiaries left. There's no kits either for Spirit, so they're a bit one-dimensional. If they do concede the bomb plant, then they're in a little bit of trouble here. And Entropiq are breathing down the neck of A.
Yeah, but Spirit's fortunate that Entropiq has slowed this down so much. I'm with you. I thought that was a fake at first, and then, yeah, maybe just to draw out utility. Here we go. The full set piece. And, yeah, now that utility is going to have something to say as the people who used it are rotating over from the B bomb site. But SDY's at least got him a man advantage. Bomb goes down. Entropiq can just do damage, and even in a loss, if they get 3 to 4 kills, they're going to be happy with that at this point.
Oh, yeah. No doubt at all. Spirit need to get this convincingly under wraps and quickly at that. There's only 1 flashbang left. They're throwing a smoke towards the ramp side. Now the flashbang up and over. Lack of kit will be an issue, but Frost has lost his head and Lackey goes down instantly afterwards. Nickelback trying to make moves through connector, but he is the last bastion of hope, and it's only the MAC-10 at range that can maybe clutch this one out. It would be one hell of an SMG play. He tries to draw away fire.
Oh, he got it.
Enough. They don't have a kit. Entropiq still win the round.
Oh my dear, that's painful. Good win from Entropiq. That flank, that wrap around towards middle, even with just a MAC-10. Even with the MAC-10 at that range, it does the trick. That's some good stuff. 5-on-4, or 5-4, excuse me, in the scoreline. And Spirit's able to salvage some weapons, but I mean, Entropiq has so much money built up now from even just like kind of cheaping out and keeping those Mac 10s to the plant to the victory. They'd already had plenty of money in the bank no matter what happened in that round. This is great for the T side on Mirage.
Cracking start to Entropiq. 4 players this time are together as United Force just outside of B-Apps. They're going to be taking some initial aggression through on Catwalk side. Mia has the right idea, but Forrester is using that smoke to just shroud him a little bit longer. Now that the Molotovs and flashes have dissipated through on apps, there is the opportunity to just go ahead and press forward. Flashes proceed to push. Magic stuck alone. Big frag to kick things off. Not exactly the cleanest kill of Magic's career, and it will cost him his life in return. Dexter smoked out, and I think Spirit want to save. They know the importance of keeping these weapons and the very low likelihood and they'll actually end up clutching this. So they do back away. Or are they just thinking about pushing up Catwalk instead, perhaps?
I think they're just trying to get that M4 instead of a FAMAS and salvage, obviously, the smoke. But yeah, this is not a realistic retake. Especially with that AWP in hand, just back away. But they've got to be careful. They're starting to get battered by Entropiq. 6-4, 2-round lead for the T side.
Seems that shoe is on the other foot now. From slicing and dicing and making it look incredibly easy and effortless on Dust 2, Spirit now are struggling to gasp for any kind of oxygen. They're being submerged time after time. They're being taken into very deep waters from Entropiq. And that scrappy Counter-Strike has continued. Entropiq are playing some solid... Yes, for the most part, though, is a buy forthcoming on Spirit because of their saved weapons. But even then, it's not ideal. Great shot, though, from Mia. Just pre-firing through the smoke. Forrester this time is done. It's going to be a rinse and repeat. Straight out onto B, but this time there's no flashes preceding the push. This time, Magix is joined by Dexter, and the two of them repel the push single-handedly.
Yeah, this time the round's over before anyone's feet can touch the ground out of those holes. A nice little cheeky kill through smoke from Mir in middle, and some easy frags as they try and exit the halls. And if you're Nickelback and Elliot, this is way too long to think you're going to be able to save. And still, you wouldn't even want to. Again, like, you have a little bit of a streak going on right now, 5 in a row. Yeah, they've saved some weapons, but you have to imagine you've got some players on Team Spirit with a low economy. If you can get some kills, that'd be huge, although it looks like they are just going to be content to sit the round out.
Yeah, maybe not wanting to donate either of these weapons across as well to Spirit, knowing that an extra AK or AWP could be huge. So they do sit back and just allow this round to wash to its natural conclusion, and that will be Spirit taking 5 rounds at range. Nickelback comes out second best, and Elian, who is sat and waiting, will probably be waiting another 20 or so seconds. Actually, he will get pushed on, so they know now that he's back at T-spawn. Now, their money's not great here for Spirit, so if Elian was able to post up some last-second shenanigans and heroics, he could actually make this sting. And Spirit needs to be a bit careful about that, but he does get shut down. The only saving grace is it's before the end of time. So at least he does have some round loss accruing, but that'll be Spirit 5-6 behind.
Well, at least fighting back a little bit. Still in this, going into round number 13, or round number 12, excuse me. Yeah, some very good kills here. 1 round lead. Mac 10 still on the board for Crad. Entropiq continuing to go back to this, having always one Mac 10 on the board. Gonna look to apply some pressure towards the B bomb site. Early nades out. Just some standard pressure, and you can see Spirit not getting fooled by it this time. Holding the nades a little bit longer. Trying to catch a good timing for some chip damage. But 4 players here with the lurker over in Palace. And Crad gonna come right through the smoke. Double nade on towards Van. That's gonna clear things out. It's the Mac 10 committed with an AK-47, but Spirit has stopped them cold. Now what's the follow-up is the question.
Oh, it's going to be a barrage of bullets headed their way, but Nickelback actually returns fire. Alien with a huge entry onto Dexter. And once the smoke starts to settle and starts to dissipate, Entropiq will have a 4 versus 1 in their favor. Maybe some Young can pick up the first, but Krad says no. As he just swats him away, vaporizing him with the AK-47. And now Spirit in trouble again.
Yeah, Entropiq just allowed those smokes up and just kind of gathered all the information they needed through the smoke. A little bit of a spam battle back and forth. Nickelback's going to win it right here, sees the tracers. Magix was only able to get 1 before being traded off, and a lot of space for Elian with the AWP to just go to town. 7-5 and 1 final buy for Spirit. If they lose this, they're in trouble, but Dexter's at least got him started well. Man advantage in round 13 for Spirit.
Good flash. The follow-up damage is there as well, but Elian just about survives on a slither of health. Looking to try and smash through and shatter this defense through Connector. And Lackey decides just to push the smoke. It's not something they've really done too many times through Connector. It's been fairly one-dimensional. If they do hit A, it's been an execute, and that absolutely catches Chopper unawares. Dexter now is watching for that cross, but with so much time left, and the rest of Entropiq starting to make moves over on the A side, one well-placed smoke, flash, or Molotov will just get rid of Dexter's position. And that's where Spirit will be in trouble once again. There is the Molotov. Now, he can still peer into Palace, but he won't be able to deny this bomb plant from coming into play. And 2 of the 3 CTs are actually stuck on the CT side here. Make it all 3 of them, but 2 kills in quick succession. Bring this into the realms of possibility. Incendiary toss back to the triple box. Mia's trying to get aggressive. And they have the right idea with Dexter's positioning. Molotov will force him out into the open now, or away from the site bare minimum. But keep in mind where the bomb is planted. They have a player up on the catwalk, and then more importantly, they have Nickelback still on the site to spray down for an 8th round.
Listen, Nickelback has a great end to that round, it's true, but Lackey's the one that got him on the right foot. That play up connector towards bench, he gets the 1 kill towards the top of a ramp, but sitting on the benches, if you're a Spirit and you're rotating, you don't know if he's gone close to ticket booth. You don't know if he's on the benches, if he's gone back to jungle. So you actually can't rotate through the murder hole. That funnels everyone towards CT spawn, which adds so much extra time onto the rotations that the plant is safely there in time. It's safely there before anyone from Team Spirit can really harass it. And that was just good, solid positioning. 3-round lead for Entropiq. It's starting to look good here on Mirage in this first half, Vince. I think they're starting to look a bit convincing. We'll see if they can keep it up for these final 2 rounds and carry it on over to defense.
I'm right alongside with you. I think Entropiq right now are looking by far the superior team. I'm curious how it will fare when the roles are reversed, though, if their CT side will look as effortless at times, or maybe that's where Spirit really come into their own. But there's no doubting that the economic situation is not paired very well with Spirit's positioning, and they have been sliced and diced multiple times. It made to look a little bit ordinary here on Mirage. 3 players remain. Chopper with the Deagle stuck on the site alone as a result of the smoke that's been put down, but that will clear sooner rather than later. And with Dexter in window, they know the catwalk's not being aggressed on. So at least there's a couple of little slithers of intel that they can really play off. Slight pixel showed itself. I thought Chopper had actually connected that headshot. Maybe he did too. But the end result is Forrester opening up the site, and Magix with a huge task ahead of him with the Deagle, joined by Dexter, who's not quite had the level of impact that you'd hope from him. And although Magix does strike once, that's where it will come to a bitter end. The conclusion is a 9-5, and Spirit have a bye, but I feel like they desperately need this round, Moses.
If for no other reason than just to feel a little bit better about this half. Like 10-5 is still, obviously, you can still come back from that when Spirit switches over to the T side. But I mean, just to have something positive going into halftime, going into the next round. This is a crazy run. This is 8-1 run for Entropiq at the moment. This has just been a dominant T side. Even in rounds like this, even in rounds where Dexter is able to find some opening kills, at times they've still, managed to drop those. This one sorely needed.
Well, they have got the opening pick, so that's a little bit of pressure that's been moved to the side. Add that in with Magic's big frag with the AWP. Maybe Forrester can make something happen from Palace, but Chopper, who's played Sandwich multiple times, in the perfect position to thwart this. Now, the downside is, and maybe a bit of an alerting sign, is that there's only 2 players of the 5 that are currently situated on A, and all of Entropiq, with plenty of grenades at their disposal, are bearing down on the site. Now, they don't know this, and the fact that Chopper's held his ground, it will be a Molotov coming down, waiting for Dexter to throw in the extinguish. Grenade over. That should be the end of Chopper. Actually, it barely scratches him. I'm not sure if it landed on top of the stairs as opposed to inside the sandwich, but only tags him for 5. And that's a really important moment. That could have been their way back into this. But it's looking great all of a sudden for Spirit. They've neutralized 4 players already and forced Nickelback away. He has the bomb, so maybe he can just have a quick charge towards the B side. Maybe there's still a way back into this, although it's looking very unlikely.
Yeah. I don't think there's a way back into this one. Here we go, the leap of faith. Oh, he's landed. That's a good start. Good opening kill. Too many bodies. 6-9 is going to be the score at halftime. But I'm here to say, yeah, feels good to get that last round if you're Spirit, but man, was that an awesome half from Entropiq. That was quite nice. A great run there towards the middle pieces of the half, and now they get to switch over to the CT side with a 3-round lead.
Yeah, we saw this really cool combination of sometimes it was individual efforts and talents that were getting them across the finish line. Sometimes it was really well played fakes and executes that were getting them across as well. So they showed that they had a lot of different sort of takes and tells on their T side. But this is where I'm really curious to see what Spirit have to in store for the T half. The pistol is going to be just pretty aggressive, straightforward, looking like it's going to be an A hit. They have 1 smoke, 1 flash in the hands
and 1
of
defender.
Chopper. Yes, exactly. Crad stuck in shadow alone. He does now have at least Crad to come help him out. And pardon me, it's actually Elian. And it's Elian that rattles the skull of Magix. Flashbang is good, and Crad, oh, he misses out on his chance. That was a real opportunity to get 2 or 3 kills in quick succession. As it stands, though, it's post-plant. And to add to all the other woes, Forrester's been dinked.
Yeah, this flank is everything. If this flank yields nothing, a round should be over. And indeed, that's the way it is. All that you can do now is drop a smoke on it and pray that none of these 4 players spam you appropriately. Good headshot from Dexter. And a 7th round for Team Spirit. That's both the pistols here on Mirage picked up by Spirit.
Which really factors into how impressive Entropiq were, that they lost the opening pistol, they've lost the second, and they still lead by 2 rounds. And there were a couple of moments here that they were skating by, very well played by Mir, though, of course, to salvage that. And considering that at one point he was on, 14 kills and 6 deaths, he's definitely been an absolute beast. He's 22 frags, 115 ADR, even though his team are currently trailing. It's so lopsided right now, and they need someone to help him out.
Good shot from Magix. Nickelback, angle with the Deagle. Not able to connect the shots, not able to land any damage. And he's going to start backing away, but right into the hands of Mir. Lackey now steps up with the Deagle and armor. Lines up a good, easy headshot to the side of the temple, but that's it. Elian and Forrester are going to back away and try and save these weapons. Nice job from Team Spirit. Just waiting patiently for the rotations to wander into their crosshairs. And they even already have a Mir chasing down and hunting some of these weapons that are attempted to be saved. These final 2 Entropiq players are going to be trapped into the B bomb site, and Mir's going to get a chance. He's been spotted, picks up the pace, now knows where both are. A little bit of damage onto Forrester, a lot of damage onto Forrester. And that should be the signal to Team Spirit to start pushing up and moving. If they want these guns, it's got to be right now.
I'm a little bit surprised that he's so isolated from the rest of the team, because he saw both players, so he knows they're not going to go in for an injury or anything like that. They're so far away, but as it stands, Forrester has fallen. He's met his demise and met his fate because it's done by Young's aggression through B-apps, and Elian's stuck between multiple angles. Is he going to survive? He will. So that's going to be 1 Kevlar and the Scout. Obviously, very little will be picked up around that, so they at least get their man 1-for-1 in the end. But Spirit, looking like they're getting a bit more comfortable and getting themselves back into this.
Yeah, we'll see how long that lasts, right? Because at least to start this half out, they've had the economic control off the back of winning the pistol. The question is, when the guns come out, what are we going to be working with? What are things going to be looking like? Elian hit some fantastic shots in middle in the first half on the T side, trying to do it again, trying to replicate it. Not quite happening. Nade is out towards Tetris. That's a good kill from Lackey. And Magic is in trouble. I can't pronounce his name still, but Lackey, 2 more frags. He's got a triple kill. And Chopper's down very, very low. Lackey almost for the ace, and he just can't do it. I don't think Chopper's ever going to expect Nickelback to be here. And there's the kill. What an incredible hold from the Deagle.
Exquisite. He did a couple of plays like this on Nuke as well. His Deagle is so good. Just an unreal round from Lackey. You can get to see it again here. First Deag, beautiful. Second one, but they kind of run in one by one, but you just can't argue with that insane aim from Lackey. What an unbelievable round that is, and it instantly puts Spirit on the back foot. Yes, they can rummage together a buy here, but should they lose this, they'll be flat out broke.
Yeah, that's some fantastic shooting. Oh, and unfortunately, it's all been given away in middle. Just a nice wide swing. Brutal stuff. 2 kills so fast, and this is when Team Spirit gets annoying to play against. They have those kills. Obviously, pretty much every team is kind of annoying to play against in a 3v5, but now this slowdown portion of the round can be so frustrating when you're trying to get yourself back into it. Especially when it happens with 1 minute and 30 seconds left on the clock.
Oh yeah, they just feel very clinical, like very systematic, very controlled, disciplined, with making sure they don't leave one of those angles open for debate. So if you want to try and get a little bit desperate and create a play out of nothing, and Spirit are very good at shutting down. We saw it multiple times over the duration of Dust 2. They were much, I'd say, not necessarily worse at it, but Entropiq were maybe better at just picking the gaps on Nuke. They're in the post plant. Now they're trying to smoke their way into safety. And this is where that poor economy may very well afford them the luxury of doing just that, because they can't really afford to lose any more weapons now, Spirit. I'm kind of surprised that some Young's got that aggressive. He gets forced back from that Molotov. And it looks like Entropiq may be able to save their guns in Palace, because Spirit, pretty sure they're going to just give this one up.
Well then, some pretty back and forth rounds. Lackey with the Eagle delivering. Forrester can drop an M4 into the next round, so still should be a good buy for the Entropiq defense, but this is going to take a lot of the cash away from them. One player going to be relegated to either, to a pistol, maybe a FAMAS if Lackey feels like dropping one over. He's got the utility for it. Still trying to just maintain this lead. 10-9 in the favor of Entropiq.
Economy on Entropiq on a razor's edge. Even with double AWPs, they will not feel safe whatsoever. Forrester playing up close on the balcony side. Spot where Magic's had a lot of success when the roles were reversed. Lackey's going to get aggressive. Nothing forthcoming just yet. Sundying and Magic's playing this one way more passively, more controlled. Again, it's that discipline that we were discussing before as he backs away, but the bomb is under control of Magic, so should he get that shot correctly, things could get interesting. Elian, though, has just been fragged down from window. Lackey definitely would have been spotted there. Tries to fall out, but actually peeks back in, takes Magic's with him, and survives just for a couple more moments, but now the curtain comes down. It crumbles, and Spirit take the sledgehammer, demolish the B site defense one more time, and they will tie us up at 10 apiece.
Yeah, even though there's a nice kill from Lackey falling back, he falls into the trap of the players up catwalk. Nowhere to go, and Team Spirit have tied it. Not only that, they've tied it and they've taken control of the money. Krad and Nickelback going to do their best to save these weapons, but Chopper finds an immediate headshot. I think Krad even had the jump on him in that fight. And now Nickelback, they have to know he's going to go into Palace to save. Jumping around, holds his nerve, and SDY picks him off. 10-10. And Team Spirit is poised to take the lead in this game.
Oh, it's looking very likely that they will. It's looking likely that they may just pick up steam, get that second wind at the perfect moment towards the finish line. Not to write Entropiq out just yet, but the general trend of this match definitely favoring Spirit now. We were curious what they do on their T side, and so far it's looked pretty sharp. Been a couple of dodgy moments, but by and large their rifles have been on point. Crad with the USP, try it as he may, comes out second best, and a lot of this really did spiral into position courtesy of Lackey's crazy deagle round, and they're not really the rounds that you can rely on round in, round out to secure you know, success. That's more of a freak occurrence. It's more of a rare occurrence. You can see there, Lackey has no impact in this round, and neither do the rest of his teammates.
Yeah, outside of that one round, it's been all Team Spirit in the second half. It's starting to look a little bit brutal. 5-1 run to start things out. As Spirit look to take not only the map, but the series. This is the deciding map. It was a, 5 overtime victory for Entropiq on Nuke. A dominant win for Spirit on Dust 2. And now in Mirage, at least for the moment, it's close, but it feels like with the way Spirit are playing that they could just kind of crank it up and take control away from Entropiq any moment. Lackey's in the underpass, and that's a big win on the chopper, but can he fall back? Can he maintain the 5-on-4?
Yeah, because Mir's at the top of the boxes, but he actually lets him escape because of that smoke being put down. So yes, he does. The hit and run is successful, 23 HP to spare, but he gets the frag onto Chopper, lives to tell the tale, which is so crucial for this round and current standing. Elian, meanwhile on the B site, has locked it down as Magix goes in first, but has his head removed, and so they now need to fall back. And a lot of this has to pivot in through Mir. He's had such a stellar performance so far on this Mirage that you couldn't write him off having a couple of frags in this and getting them back into this round. They have time, though, so a fair few things are going in their favor, and it looks like he may very well go for the long con, try and flank round, maybe even through Murder Hole if they're not careful. He's looking for that pick. He just needs something to work with. Now, the vent's still up, which is bad news for Mir, so he can't get down there silently. But it seems like A site will be the final destination.
That's a good call from Entropiq, though. They're playing a very, very passive defense and calling out, obviously, that they don't have any information in towards middle. Backing away off everything, playing to preserve the 5-on-3. This is a small fake being thrown by Mir. SDY is going to walk out, looking for one. There's Crad. There's one more hiding in the site. It's Lackey. And Dexter with the off. This is unwieldy, but he's got to take the fight. He's got to try. And Nickelback puts him down from a different part of the map. Mir gets put into play too late. The fake not effective enough. And Entropiq keeps this tied at 11.
Nice shot from Elian. Slow motion cam here. There was a flash just before. Flicks to his head and through the wall. Very nicely done. Yeah, I love the idea of that fake. It was an underarm smoke on Catwalk, almost faking as if the B-site player was coming in to keep them interested. But it was that player up close in the firebox getting the 1-for-1 trade that was so important, so integral. Now they've got tons of cash still at their disposal. So Spirit are nowhere near out of this. That spray, though, nearly yields the first frag of round 23. And I'll put Dexter into a horrible spot. He is the author, so he can still have impact, but it's Mir that takes down Nickelback with ease, just erodes away that defense, and Magic stands tall and delivers. Lackey's also been sent reeling out of the round.
Well, Lackey hesitated a little bit there. Wanted to make a play up middle, saw some presence at the top mid boxes and decided against it, but too slow to get away from Magix. But again, Team Spirit, another round pretty early on. They have a 2-man lead, a 5-on-3. There, whenever Entropiq is trying to battle for mid control, Spirit's winning it, which is tough for Entropiq if they go back to that. Winning it pretty clean and convincing as well. And then you just hit the pause button, everyone holds down shift, and you don't hear another sound from Team Spirit until they're basically on top of a bomb site.
And this time it'll just be the distant sound and pitter-patter and singeing of Molotovs that is heard from all the way over on B site. A is completely vacant, open for business, and business is good in round 23 for Spirit. They're looking to take the lead again. The saved 3 weapons, though, will afford Entropiq quite a few of opportunities and a decent buy coming into the next one, so they'll be happy enough to tap out of this one. Additionally, Spirit, though, they have a lot of money here, so I'd expect at least to see a couple players try and chase them down. Even a 1-for-2 trade, I would say, may very well be worthwhile. That would put a couple of players down to lower investment, lower economy, lower utility here. So it looks like they're on the same page. They're trying to send out Magix by himself, keeping players on the side just to be utterly careful. But it's how slow these two players are through the B-Apps that's a bit more of an issue. Beautiful shot from Magix, though. Surgical precision on the frag. And although he's traded back out again, that may very well be good enough to put them in a really awkward spot. Elian needs to tread lightly. He's going to get aggressive when we saw him land this very similar shot in the last round. Going to get bypassed. It's looking to push him down, but he does retain control of the AWP.
Yeah, just barely. Maybe a second or two more, and they would have had that just fine. This is tough now for Entropiq. Money starting to be an issue again. This round will be fine. They can drop some weapons over if they choose to, but after that, again, it's almost like the coffers are just going to be empty. So a pause so they can talk it over, figuring out how they want to approach the final portion of this map, of this series. And the answer is a double up.
Interesting. I respect the decision making. We'll see if the execution lives up to that mantle, but double AWPs definitely afford a lot of luxuries. I'm curious on the spawns here. Forrester has the best spawn for middle. Seems that Nickelback has the best spawn for ace, and neither of them have fantastic spawns to go for early picks. So I've suggested it may be more of a slow-paced round, unless they want to get aggressive up mid. This is something that Spirit did quite a bit on their CT side, and Entropiq haven't seemed that interested in doing it just yet. I think it was Mia, right, that kept pushing mid? When Spirit were on their CT side?
Yep. Absolutely was. Yeah, no one from Entropiq has showed that size cojones just yet. SDY waiting on the other side of this smoke. It's Forrester and Lackey. Both on the platform, just waiting. Stalemate across the map, and ooh, this is dangerous. Pushing into it, SDY. Oh, he does lose a teammate. Unfortunately, Magix goes down way far back. But I think they'll be okay with that trade.
Spirit have just bypassed that bait and switch, though. There was aggression from Lackey in apps while Forrester was sat back on the balcony. He was hoping that that would push them forward into a fast B hit. It didn't happen, so now he's going to be out of position. He's looking like another A hit here. That smoke is going to clear shortly. There's a gap in there. Elian has the right idea. Smoke now clearing, but he's going to be peeked any second now from Mia. Chopper, though, actually does regain a bit of control over the A site. Crad desperately trying to hold on behind the site itself, playing on default box. Made the aggressed one, heard the jump up from Chopper, but still comes out second best. And in a 2-on-1, Chopper still had 20 seconds to try and pull this together to crack the clutch, but instead, he gets slapped across the side of the head by Forrester's M4, and we're all even again.
Yeah, still, I mean, good wins from Entropiq, and they're still riding this real fine line, this edge of a cliff with their economy. Haven't been able to build anything up, haven't been able to feel comfortable with any money behind them. You could see 3 players at $0 after this investment, so not out of the woods just yet. Spirit, on the other hand, Coffer's starting to run a little bit low, but they're okay for now. They've got another round behind any loss that they sustain. And Elian gonna take an peek up towards top mid, and Dexter almost loses his life to Nickelback spamming from the window. This looks like Spirit almost wanted to turn this into a timing hit. 2 players in Palace towards the end, including the bomb. Pinch onto the A bomb site could be in store for the defense.
Dexter flashing in for Magix to have a peek into connector. Dexter multiple times has been tagged at the top side. He's typically not like playing with the AWP that much on the T half here on Mirage. Now Magix through the connector smoke has to try and get some entries. Chopper's the only player that struck in this round for Spirit. Whereas at one point their money was spiraling out of control, now it's in a little bit more of a dampened state. Elian keeping this round in the palm of his hand before Sundai Young rips it out of there, rips off heads left and right. It's another one onto Forrester, and Lackey, against two very low team players, slips away from Dexter's hands. A beautiful recovery with Sundai Young behind the wheel.
Oh boy, that one hurts. That's the dagger a little bit with the economy. Entropiq out of money, out of investments after this. They have to just kind of give it up. They can't even really buy enough to fight with in this round either. Can't even go for a half buy because they've been going back and forth, so the losing bonus isn't building up, and they're gonna need cash once Spirit, you know, hypothetically get to 14. Nickel back, pop flash. Oh, I take it all back. One flashbang at a P250, $400 investment takes out two players. Excuse me, 500.
Is this really about to happen again? Is this possible that they're just going to take these P250s, USPs, and somehow win the round? Forrester nearly gets the drop onto Mia, but Mia is too strong, delivers too many shots. Dexter's living on borrowed time. They're going to cash in. Whether it was Crad or whether it was the flanking element of Lackey, he was going to be a goner either way. Chopper, very low. Typically thrives, though. The weaker he gets HP-wise, the better his aim seems to be. You can never fully write this guy off. And it's more about the snake in the grass of Mia that's not really been spotted for a while. That could be the issue. You see the T's together, united in life as they are death. And the bomb is in such an awkward spot here, and a lot of this basically pivots off Mia. And the downside is that Lackey's actually going to be watching this with the AWP, but I don't think he spotted him.
No, he didn't see him through the railings. That's a huge mistake, because if he spots him, Lackey and Crad could have doubled up on either player. They had a 2-on-1 to whichever fight they decided to take. Oh no, they don't realize Lackey's here though. They're looking elsewhere. With the Deagle, he might be able to get it done. There's the first. Now he can just hide. 20 seconds left. AWP is out. Mir goes down, and Lackey saves the day. He made a huge mistake not spotting Mir earlier when he peeked towards spawn, but he recovers, so it's all good. And off this play, nothing brought into the round except P250s and a flashbang. What a turn. And again, just like Nuke, Entropiq finds a way to win a scrappy, scroungy round with very little economy. 13 all.
They do so much with so little. Time after time, the flick from Elian on point. That's the kind of round, the previous one, that can really motivate the team, get them spurred up. If you're low on energy, that could be the difference maker. As Elian flicks across to the opening pick. 19 kills to his name, just shy of 90 ADR. Had a really good showing here on Mirage. Chopper, though, with the smoke helping him out, decides to start pushing up Catwalk. We haven't seen the T's execute off this too often. It's typically been Mia when a lot of casualties have already fallen down. Forrester, not for the first time, up on balcony. Was anticipating this push coming in, but Dexter and Chopper just run straight onto the site, claiming frags as they move. Elian flashed right into his face. He has to pull the plug and get out of the marketplace. So that is Spirit's opportunity now to get the bomb plant down and to start to establish a bit of control over round 27.
I think they got caught with their pants down a little bit, Vince. I didn't see quite the angle that those fights were taken at, but they certainly weren't expecting that timing of getting the corner turned on them on Catwalk. Easy fights for Spirit to win. Dexter with the opening and Chopper with the follow-up onto the player on platform. I believe that was Forrester. And man, what a heartbreaking 180 after stealing a round away with just the pistols and a very, very nice, very important 1-on-2 clutch to this. This is starting to be deja vu to Nuke. Vince, back and forth down the stretch. Some really tough low economy wins and just no one able to gain control of this map down the stretch, just trading rounds. 14-13 in the favor of Team Spirit.
So I guess the question is then, Moses, 5 overtimes again?
Yeah, I thought about using the phrase of deja vu because I didn't want to jinx it, but here we go. Let's get into it. I've got my party pants on.
Here we go. Let's see if we do have History repeat itself. Nickelback's been mollied off, and that doesn't allow Mia the safe passage to Peak Connector. That's by design. That's an exquisite turn of events for Spirit as well. That's a huge opportunity now, especially as Forrester's just down to a Deagle. So Entropiq, who are already weakened, now struggling that little bit more.
Trade for the AWP. Oh, here it comes. Double Molotov. Hit through the B halls. Lackey's got one. Forrester with the Deagle trying to keep some space, but it's not the strongest weapon. And Lackey's kind of been forced into cover. Now blocked off by the smoke, so it's all onto this Deagle. Another smoke comes out to recover the bomb. Deagle gives up the position and an up shot through the smoke, and now Lackey has to try and do something real impressive. He's got to get aggressive out of the sky. There goes Chopper. Dexter with the fast trade, and all this time, Krad on the other side of the map hasn't been able to decide where to commit. It's going to be 2 map and series points for Team Spirit as they take a 15th round.
I wonder how much of Krad's positioning is because Spirit's reputation kind of precedes them. They are one of those teams that love to play with a lurk player, a late flank. Maybe he was anticipating that it was either a fake at some point or he's going to get flanked. And doing so, he's just kind of in no man's land. Wasn't really helping anybody. Best case is to save this M4. They're going to have so little to play with behind this. Very likely he will save this. His Spirit is still, by and large, stuck on the site. But you're looking at bare minimum investment behind this M4 to save everything. Spirit have a golden opportunity to take this 2-1, to end this marathon session of Counter-Strike between these two teams. Look at that money. It is so grim.
Yeah, it's not pretty. But like we just said, deja vu, they've been here before. They've won plenty of these rounds where the money wasn't looking good with various levels of investment. But then the question on the other side of that comes: have they used up all their good fortune? 1 kit on Krad, and an okay amount of utility. An M4, 3 Deagles, and a Scout for Entropiq to keep themselves alive in this series.
Taking quite a bit of damage as well. Down in Connector, has to back away. 40 HP. Wonder if he maybe throws that across to a teammate if he gets the opportunity, or if he just holds on to that, because he's not necessarily the player. No disrespect to him that you expect to frag out as hard as some of the other guys. Like Nickelback's had great performances. Forrester's one of those guys. So we'll see what happens with that. But in amongst all of that early chaos, the pace has died down. Spirit may be anticipating that a desperation, wild haymaker punch may be forthcoming. But Entropiq, well, they are so passive. They are so deep in their angles. Back at CT boxes, back at the murder hole side of window, 2 position plays at the back of B site. So we're in this round for the long haul.
Working their way up Catwalk. Spirits had a good amount of success attacking up Catwalk. They're going to do it again. Quick smokes. Here come the split. The B-Halls portion of the attack is a little bit delayed. It's the hit from Catwalk that's initiating, and it's working up until now. Up until these damn Deagles. Forrester gets one more, a 3-on-2. Hiding as best he can, and SDY turns the tables. It's all on Nickelback. He's had a fantastic series. This is a lot to ask for with just a Deagle himself. Smoke clears. He's out in the open and can't do anything else. SDY shuts it down and wins the series. Spirit is going to take things 2-1.
What a great series that was, though, Mosi. We've been blessed with so much good Counter-Strike today. Sometimes it's been scrappy, but it's been incredibly entertaining from beginning to end. I think that's the expectation a lot of people had, is that Spirit would win this series. Yeah, I don't think people expected it to be that close, though, and I'm definitely going to fall in line with that as well. Honestly, I feel like Entropiq can come out with this feeling a bit hard done by. On another day, they'd probably win this match.
Certainly. I mean, Dust 2 seemed to get away from them, but obviously Nuke was a good showing of some resilience in 5 OTs. Mirage as well. They had their chances, just gotten some tough spots and a few small mistakes with specific strategy. I think the Catwalk hits that Spirit started bringing out really messed with them. I think they had a tough time controlling or getting information in middle. And eventually that became the downfall on their CT side. So yeah, that being said, that's a very good showing. That's the first Entropiq match that I've actually seen. Pretty impressed. And again, now that we've had Entropiq losing this series, Namiga taking Gambit 2-1, and their series that we casted earlier as well, it's two teams that, you know, pretty interesting to see how they're going to stack up with some of the other top squads that we have at this event in the CIS RMR.
Yeah, and this is only the first day. Obviously, we got a lot of Counter-Strike coming up, a lot of rounds to be played. So yeah, it's been a long old day of Counter-Strike, that's for sure. Yeah,
you can see the standings here for both Group A and Group B. Spirit and Entropiq, that matchup was a Group B one we just saw. 100 Ping Gods did end up beating Virtus Pro in 3 maps. That third and final map on Overpass was an overtime game as well. So a cool upset there. We saw a couple matches. I mean, our second one, obviously, our first one as well, knocking on the door of an upset, but not able to complete it. So it's good to see that at least one got done. Fours and Gambit, both with 2 map wins. Yet to see Na'Vi play in this RMR. That's going to be coming up tomorrow, obviously.
Yes, and I think obviously a lot of people will be looking towards Na'Vi and Gambit going head to head. But for me, the fact that VP have already conceded a loss in that group, that kind of knocks the group wide open for me. That's made things really interesting over on Group B. Yeah, certainly does, although there's plenty of time for them to recover, plenty of matches still left in that group. This was what we witnessed today on this main stream, Namiga and Gambit. 2 close maps to start it out. Namiga taking Inferno, losing on Vertigo, very, very close affairs, overtime in 16-14, and then getting just swept aside on the third and final map. And then we just saw the conclusion of this close maps all the way through. This is tomorrow's schedule for this mainstream. 100 Ping Gods taking on Entropiq. So right away, the team that just had an upset over VP against the team that we were just pretty impressed with after this recent series against Spirit. And Namiga taking on Na'Vi, who's going to get into the action, throw their hat into the ring as well, Vince. I think that Namiga Na'Vi game could be really interesting because Namiga, yes, Dust 2 aside, was a really, really close, very fun game. I think Idis Balance going up against the likes of Simple is going to be a great, tantalizing prospect. So I wouldn't be surprised if Namiga maybe take a map off Na'Vi, to be honest.
Yeah, that would be something. I don't know if I'm going to go that far, but I too am interested to see if it can happen. I'm excited to see the big dogs get involved in the action from Na'Vi as well. Been a while. So that's it for day 1 of the StarLadder CIS RMR. Big thank you from Vince and I for sticking with us through all the casting today, all the games today. Hope you enjoyed it. And then we'll be back. I'll be back tomorrow. I'm sorry to say goodbye to you, Vince.
It's all good, man. I think I'll speak for everyone and say it's great to have you back, man. So
cheers, brother.
I'll be tuning in. I'll be enjoying the casting.
We'll keep in touch. Have a good one, guys, and see you tomorrow.